Tanshe. I'm Bailey Bornyk. I'm Mitchif from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, and a member of Gable Demont Local 11. I'm the coordinator of Indigenous Student Programming at First Nations House, and I'll be organizing programming and events for Indigenous students, including Indigenous Education Week, which we'll talk about later. And feel free to contact me for any and all program related questions, including like ideas you have, planning, design, and implementation.
Hi everyone. I'm Gabby. I'm in my third year studying biodiversity and conservation bio with minors in Indigenous studies and environmental studies. I am Ojibwe from Chippewas of Rama First Nation, and I'm also here to talk about the ISA. I'm on the exec team. Yeah, happy to be here.
Hello, good afternoon. I'm Steph Chartrand. I am a Red River Métis, so Manitoba Métis Federation citizen. I'm originally from St. Laurent, Manitoba, and also lived in Winnipeg. I am a second year PhD student in adult education and community development. I study how folks interact with the food system, but specifically the culinary aspects of the food system and how we work and learn. This year, I am the SAGE coordinator, which stands for the Supporting Aboriginal Graduate Enhancement or Education. And so I'll be talking a little bit more about what First Nations House does with graduates, second entry, or mature students.
First, I just wanted to introduce a bit about what is First Nations House. So, First Nations House provides culturally relevant services to Indigenous students to support academic success, personal growth, and leadership development. It also allows all students to engage with Indigenous communities at U of T and acts as a space where Indigenous students can come and just work on their own homework or drop in with the student services that we have here. And through the Indigenous Student Services, there is an Indigenous Student Association, or the ISA, which I'll let Gabby, who's an executive member, speak more about that.
I'm currently the Bird Clan lead on the Indigenous Students Association, or the ISA. We're open to all Indigenous students from Turtle Island, so meaning First Nations, Métis, and Inuit folks. And if you haven't heard of us before, we plan socials, hold ceremonies and events, etc., etc. So like for example, last year we had basket weaving workshop, we went bowling, we went to the rec room, hosted a student symposium in collaboration with Sage. We also collaborate with other ISAs. We've done bingo nights in the past with Toronto Metropolitan and OCAD universities, ISAs as well. And we're always welcome to general members to join us, and registration is open all the time during the academic year. To join, we ask that you fill in the intake form linked in our Instagram, which is at ISA_UofT. There you'll find all of your ISA needs, including a constitution and bylaws, and in-depth descriptions about our general members and executive roles. And speaking of our executive roles, we follow the Anishinaabe clan governance system. So there are 7 executive positions, or called clan leads. We're currently in the voting period for our 2025 and 2026 executive team, which closes this Friday at October 17th, which is 2 days from now. And voting is entirely online and via Google form, and it's only open to executive members. And again, membership is always open. So if you're interested in joining us as a general member or potentially as a future clan lead, or you're just interested in staying in the loop, you can find everything in our link tree on our Instagram, again, at ISA_UofT. And that's my little blurb.
Thanks so much, Gabby. I guess now I'll move into just some of the resources that are available at First Nations House and introduce you to like some of the staff that you can come talk to as well. So first off, Jennifer Wesley is the receptionist. So she'll be always at like the front desk and there to greet you when you come to First Nations House. You can contact her with questions you have about First Nations House or to sign up for the newsletter as well, where you can receive all the events that will be taking place, and you can yeah, come join. You can also contact Jennifer to schedule an appointment with Bonnie Jane Maracle if you want a one-on-one appointment with her as well, who is our traditional teacher at First Nations House. There's also the Resource Center. So Jenny Blackbird runs the Resource Center, which involves the First Nations House Library, which is stocked with a lot of books. And you can come use them as reference. There's also computers in there if you need to print anything or use the computers. And you can contact Jenny to connect with other community resources as well. She's also running a firekeeper training program right now too. So if you're interested in signing up for that, you can contact Jenny. There's also a learning strategist. His name's Dave Smith. So you can contact Dave to help with assignment planning, note taking, research strategies, exam preparation, and time management. I used Dave when I was a student here last year, and he helped me plan out my assignments and essays and really helped me in my final year of schooling. So I would definitely recommend booking an appointment. We also have traditional teachers at First Nations House. Andrew Wesley hosts a teaching circle every Wednesday evening, 6 to 8 p.m. And Bonnie Jane Maracle holds tea and talks on Fridays from 12 to 1 p.m. and takes one-on-one appointments both in person and online. So you can meet with her on Zoom as well if that works better for you. There is an Indigenous student academic and financial support worker, and that's June. You can access support and resources, including academic advising and financial assistance, and she'll help you access like bursaries and scholarships. So if you need any funding assistance, definitely contact June. There's also accessibility service supports, who is Elizabeth Jeffrey. So she assists in navigating disability related barriers that you might have for your academic success. And she takes appointments with Indigenous and non-Indigenous students, but she's here twice a week, I believe, and you can book an appointment with her if you need any academic supports as well. And there's also career planning and supports. That's Amanda Andrews. So you can contact her for assistance with career exploration, resume and cover letters, curriculum vitae, interview preparation and practice, further education, application support, and more. She also runs events where with different employers that will come into First Nations House and interact with students and talk about openings that they might have. There's a mentorship program at First Nations House that's run by Marissa Campbell, which I also participated in last year, and as well as Gaby. So it's an Indigenous peer mentorship, and it's a group mentorship. So there's around 5 mentors and 5 mentees, and it's basically a time that you can ask any questions that you're curious about from upper year students, and they'll provide you with resources that they wish they had in earlier years, or give you tips of like how to navigate the university as well. It's a really like safe space. It's a good place to meet and even just like hang out. And that'll be in evenings coming up in the coming months. There is also an Indigenous wellness counselor, Falashade. So you can contact her for Indigenous student wellness, success, and campus community relations. So if you're needing any kind of like wellness support, contact Flashday and you can book a meeting or you can drop in as well. And then there's also a recruitment and admissions advisor, and that's Erin Sinclair. So you can contact Erin about any questions about access to programs or assistant with undergrad or graduate school applications as well. And finally, we can talk about SAGE, but I'll let Stephanie tell you a bit about what that is.
Awesome. Thanks, Bailey. Yeah, I super resonate with a lot of those folks that you were talking about, the different ways they support students. First Nations has such a great place to kind of have that wraparound support as an Indigenous student and also to meet other peers. And that's kind of tying into what SAGE does. So um, we try to have different types of events or supports that really focus towards the graduate student experience. But we say graduate student very loosely because, coming into a graduate program or being a mature student or a second entry. So if you're in law or if you're in, for example, like pharmacy or medicine, those can also be graduate experiences because it's not necessarily always your first time in university or in with a post-secondary institution. And kind of coming back into that space, we kind of provide that, I guess, peer support in different ways. So we have different academic-based programming. So we've previously done writing retreats, and we're hoping to run that again this year. We do what we call co-working circles. Kind of similar to a writing circle, but we really help folks just kind of bring whatever they're working on because we understand that graduate students are doing a lot of different things. You might be in the sciences or in engineering or in a writing-based degree. But it's really a space that Indigenous students can kind of come in and even talk about the challenges when they're working on their piece of writing or on their different assignments in those co-working circles. Or there's also the opportunity to kind of collaborate. I've definitely found a lot of value in chatting with other students in different programs. It really gives you a different perspective, but then also still, again, being with peers who are also Indigenous. We're also running cooking skills workshops. So that's another thing we do pair with the writing group where we try to find ways to not only have academic supports, but really kind of feed your, different aspects of being. Again, to that idea of like finding more wraparound services to your like personal well-being, your spiritual well-being, emotional well-being. Some other things that we're working on this year is partnering with the ISA and doing a symposium, and hopefully that will be in March again. And we're just trying to figure out logistics and what we would like to do and build off of. Some other things Bailey mentioned, we have Marissa who does the peer mentoring. So at the graduate level, we decided to do a peer mentor circle, and we're going to be doing those monthly. So that'll be a space, again, like Bailey said, to just kind of come in and talk about the challenges, about careers or school itself or other challenges you might be facing, and just kind of be in a supportive environment of folks to kind of chat. We're also hoping to do some more just fun nights because I think that's the other thing too. Just kind of hanging out, finding a way to maybe support some students who might not otherwise make time for themselves to kind of go do fun things, but are still culturally relevant. One of the great things we might do this year is go to some Indigenous night markets. Would be really, really fun. Have that planned in the works. Probably gonna chat with Bailey about that one and hopefully get some more students kind of coming out. So even with Sage, we might do things that are graduate focused, but a lot of times we'll try to connect with other folks who might be able to provide others' perspectives. Hoping to do some grant writing workshops as well. So that'll be open to, again, graduate students who might be applying for things like SSHRC, OGS, other types of grant and awards. But we also want to open it up to undergrad students who might be looking to apply into a graduate program. So those are kind of some of the supports that we might kind of work on this year. And then also, you're always free to just send an email. And if you're looking for different types of connections with different people in First Nations House, happy to facilitate that as a fellow grad student. And yeah, so maybe I'll pass that back to Bailey.
Thanks so much, Stephanie. I really appreciate how well-rounded that was. I'm excited to collaborate in the future too. And I just wanted to like let you guys know about some upcoming events that are going on with First Nations House as well. So on October 21st, there will be a career event and it's called Crafting Futures and Career Conversations. And that will be with Amanda Andrews. And it's basically you come together and you're doing a crafting exercise while discussing career related resources and it's really like helpful because it takes your mind off the like stress of like finding a career or thinking about a career because you're focused on something else. So that's on October 21st. The beading circle is bi-weekly, and the next one will be on October 23rd. And then there will also be a Halloween social on October 29th where we'll just come together and have some snacks and candy. And we're going to stream an Indigenous film, a spooky one. Um, there's also an Indigenous grief circle, and that'll be bi-weekly starting in November. So it'll be November 6th and 20th and December 4th and 18th. And they'll be at First Nations House. And then the final thing I wanted to talk about was Indigenous Education Week, because that'll be coming up in the first week of November, the week right after Reading Week for undergrad students. And Indigenous Education Week is a week of events at UofT following the theme, The Gift of Our Stories. So this year we tried to like open it up to encompass like all stories. So we're going to be talking about storytelling, treaties, and visual arts as well. And the events are going to span across all three campuses. So Monday will take place at UofT Scarborough with a storytelling event and lunch. Tuesday and Wednesday will be at UofT St. George campus. There's going to be a beading workshop, film screening at Innis College. The film will be Trick or Treaty. There's a full moon fire on Wednesday, and we're going to gather around the fire, and there will be a storyteller coming in, and we're going to set up the teaching lodge as well. And Andrew will host his teaching circle there as well on Wednesday. Thursday will be at UofT Mississauga. The event is still to be determined, but we'll be posting that very shortly. And then Friday we'll be back at St. George campus to wrap up the week. There will be a team talk with Bonnie Jane at First Nations House. And then there will be two events in collaboration with Heart House. There's going to be an Indigenous contemporary art tour on campus that'll start at Heart House and end at First Nations House. And then there will be a zine making workshop led by Angel Levac, and that'll be in the event space on the first floor. And then following that, there will be a closing feast at First Nations House as well to wrap up the whole week of events. Yeah, but I just want to say that I really encourage Indigenous students to just drop by First Nations House because that's the best way to meet the staff and everything here and other students as well, because there's always people coming in and out the door. So I feel like we're a really friendly place, and I would love to see more students using the space too. So thank you so much.
I just wanted to echo that really quickly and mention I did forget to tell everyone about the Indigenous Graduate Travel Award. And so the award supports Indigenous graduate students who want to take part in educational or experiential travel. So it's, for example, presenting at an Indigenous-based conference, joining a land-based learning activity, or engaging community-led research project. To Bailey's point, you can definitely drop on by. You can come see us and we can kind of help you with that. You can also email Sage, the Sage email at uoft.ca, I believe it is. And to Bailey's point too, again, school can feel so isolating. Please just come by. I mean, I understand as a student myself and as Bailey just finishing up, or just finished up, sorry. It can be really challenging to try to make time to do these things, but I do promise it actually gives you so much more when you give up a little bit of your time to kind of come in and chat with people and participate in events and just learning about all these resources that are available. We have resources to share with you, and we'd love to learn from you as well. So yeah, thanks, Bailey.
Thank you, Stephanie. I wanted to say too that yeah, if there's no events that are catching your eye, please reach out and just even like give us ideas because we can make a lot of these events happen, and we want to know what like students are wanting as well from the Indigenous Student Center here. So it's for students, and that should be the intent. Yeah, I don't think there's any questions. I'm not too sure. Okay. No questions. I think we'll wrap it up there then. Thanks so much, Stephanie. And Gabby had to leave early, but it was great to have her here as well.
Yeah, thanks for hosting us.